and today we'll be going over sensitivity analysis for capital budgeting. Some key terms. Capital budgeting is a method of estimating the financial viability of a capital investment. These investments are usually long-term, and some examples are building a new production facility or buying new machinery. A key aspect of capital budgeting is that it focuses on cash flow rather than profit, and it takes the time value of money into account. The goal of this process is to choose the investment projects that will benefit the company the most. Sensitivity analysis is a technique to calculate what effect errors in estimations would have on the outcome of a proposed investment project. This analysis helps to point out variables with the biggest effect if they were forecasted incorrectly, which allows the option of allocating more resources to researching those values. Sensitivity analysis also helps to show the level of risk associated with different investment options and where to focus your time and resources in order to decrease those risks. So here's a timeline of how sensitivity analysis fits into capital budgeting. The first step of capital budgeting is identifying the long-term goals of the company, and you're then going to identify potential investment ideas that would meet those goals. You're going to estimate and analyze the relevant cash flows of each investment proposal, and then you're going to conduct your sensitivity analysis to look at the impact of incorrect estimations on the outcome of each project. This will help determine the risk of each project and what variables you may want to focus more on during your budgeting and analysis. You're then going to use both the projected cash flows and the risk level to decide what projects the company should implement. You're going to monitor the implemented projects and see if they follow the projections you made and if they fulfill those original long-term goals. You can then use that data to make adjustments as needed as you go on. For the qualitative steps of sensitivity analysis, the first step is to perform a qualitative review of the potential project in order to create a list of relevant variables. When looking for these variables, you want to look at the drivers of costs and benefits for the project because this is what will impact the financial success the most. Some examples would be lost sales due to the production of a new product, advertising expenses, and increase in salaries. We then move on to quantitative steps. After identifying the variables, you're going to quantify them by attaching credible best estimate numbers to them. For the analysis, you're going to use your knowledge of the company, market, and industry to assign a range of possible values to each estimate. Then you're going to use different combinations of values from those variable ranges to see how different scenarios affect the outcome of the investment. Comparing the impacts of each scenario allows you to determine which projects are higher risk and which variables will have the most impact. So for risk and capital budgeting, seen earlier, capital budgeting analysis involves evaluating and selecting projects a company should invest in to reach their goals. Usually this is with the ultimate goal of increasing shareholder wealth. Risk is involved in the process because evaluating project variables and creating forecasts means making assumptions about the future. These assumptions are only best guesses and it's very unlikely that they will be completely correct. The likelihood of being wrong about the value and the impact that incorrect assumption has on the outcome makes up the risk of that investment. And then your financial managers must consider both the forecasted cash flows and the risk of each potential project to select the best projects for their company's goals. And this is the reference page.